digitization.
Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank my colleagues for their round applause as I stood. Madam Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 48. Now that the member has clarified that Minister Hines was speaking about digitization in the context of the Firearms Act, which is what he was speaking about, which is relevant to this bill, I do respectfully invite that you reconsider the relevance. Madam Speaker, I was saying I do respectfully, now that the honourable member has clarified, 48.1.
You know, listen, we're not going to get, remember, if you're cooked and standing orders, I expect you yourself will be bound by them. Okay? We're not going to get anywhere quickly at this rate. All right? You made your point, I've heard you.
Thank you.
And I'll do. So, member for Superior, as I said, I'll give you some leeway. We're not talking about the Ministry of Digitization completely. So make your point quickly in the context that you intended, and let's move on. Yes?
You just write it, please. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'll move on. I've made the point, and the point is that the dream of digitization under this government is just that it's a dream. Nothing real is happening to take this country forward in this age of technology and digitalization. Madam, I don't know in the rules of debate, and maybe I will be guided by your good self, that when it is, you all will have a chance to respond if you're brave enough, please.
Listen, I would like to hear the member for Superior, okay? And I would ask both sides to allow the member to make a point. Please proceed.
Good. So we are moving along. We are moving along because there are many other points I would like to raise with respect to this bill. And you know, no amount of shouting me don't will stop me, you know. You will never stop me. I will take you on anywhere, anytime, and any place for the rights of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So let's carry on. I move to my next point, Madam, if I may. And it has to do with...
But I have already said. Please proceed.
I thank you very much.
Yes.
So let's talk about some other areas now that have to deal with clauses. Again, I said 13 clauses, 11 pieces of legislation being amended. And I said some of these had to do with fines and penalties. I've dealt with those. And another set of them, another block, have to deal with waivers. When we go through the bill, we see there are 5 pieces of provisions per statute, per act that we are looking at here. And in each one, there are 5 points of waiver. So we're looking at 25 waivers, again, in this 13-clause bill, Madam. Waivers under the Registration of Clubs Act, waivers under the Income Tax Act, waivers under the VAT Act, waivers under the Stamp Duty Act, and waivers under the Property Tax Act. Now, nothing is wrong with that. Minister, when presenting, piloting, talked about many times waivers has been done for liabilities, for tax purposes, whether it be VAT, whether it be for income tax and so on, whether it was stamp duty, clubs, all these have been waived in the past. So, Minister's rationale was that, you know, with COVID, a lot of people didn't have the cash flow, would not have been able to pay a lot of these, so we're giving them a bly. We're giving them a free card for waiving, but they do eventually have to pay the taxes. So you're not waiving the tax, you're waiving the penalties and the interest where such may accrue. Okay. Now, what I have a question with, and I'll ask the Minister if he could kindly clarify for us. We have on the Income Tax Act, waiver for years ended December 21, same thing with the registration of clubs, VAT, stamp duty, and so on. So the several questions are, first of all, the Minister of Finance in all of these waivers, and I've identified 25 waivers. What minister is doing here is giving unto himself, or whomever may be the Minister of Finance, the power to extend the waiver periods by order. That is the prescribed period for making the payments. So yes, you're granting the waiver up to whenever some of the amnesty is coming in from November 14th, as Minister told us. But then within the clause that gives the waiver, the minister is saying, and this can be extended by order of the minister. Now that may seem, basic sort of drafting, but it's not. Because when you give the minister that power, and this is in 25 instances, there is no parliamentary oversight or scrutiny of taking these and extending them further. And as a parliamentary democracy, I cannot, in all fairness, in representing the good people of Trinidad and Tobago as an elected representative, agree to give that the minister, any minister, not just this one, but any minister had power to just by order, with no parliamentary scrutiny, to keep extending these. It is important that we have the parliamentary oversight, the parliamentary scrutiny, so we can properly delve down into the particular provision. Sometimes we will say yes, sometimes we will say no, but I do not agree today that we should give the minister that, and therefore by order, Minister, I want to respectfully suggest it could be subject to a negative resolution of the Parliament. The way you're giving the minister that power to legislate by order, by subsidiary legislation, it should be subject to parliamentary scrutiny, subject to a negative resolution of Parliament. So the amendments as worded will allow the minister to simply extend the waiver period as the minister sees fit without that parliamentary oversight and approval. And therefore the minister can increase the time frame of the waiver beyond the dates set in this particular piece of legislation. Again, we say any extension of the waiver period should be subject to the parliamentary scrutiny. A second point on these waivers is, and the minister was very careful, I heard him very carefully at the start of his speech to talk about how many times waivers have been granted for tax purposes and so on, the number of times in how many decades, rationale for doing so. But the minister was also very careful to talk about, that the penalties and interest have to do with getting compliance with the law. That you are forcing people, or because you have these penalties and fines and so on, you're saying to people, hey, pay, because if you don't, you'll incur penalties and so on. So all that is well and good. And so here it is, we are saying, we are waiving your interest, we are waiving the penalties, but you have to pay the taxes, whichever set it may be. Is this then, or can it be seen as a reward for those who fail to comply with the law? For those who fail to comply with the law, we give you an interest and penalty free, a bly as it were, a get out of penalty interest card free. Can it be seen as that? And minister may tell me, no, well look, COVID, they had problems, cash flow, let's give them a chance to go. I'm asking you, Honourable Minister, what about persons who complied with the law? And I'm asking this as a question. Who would have filed and paid whatever interest may have accrued before the amnesty date, which is, you're beginning from 14th November of this year, I believe. What about those? Should they not also be given some kind of a reward for complying with the law, for being good law-abiding citizens? I mean, so I'll ask you to please consider that. So whilst it is you want to go forward to collect more money, should these people be penalized in the sense that if they have paid before the tax amnesty date, have they also paid any interest and penalties, and whether we should consider also giving them some kind of bly, as you may call it, as a reward, as you're giving to those who fail to comply with the law. So as the other block, Madam, and there's one other area just out of fullness of time, we have repeatedly, on this side, repeatedly indicated that we are not in favor of the property tax at this time. We're not in favor of the property tax at this time. And indeed, when we voted for the budget debate, we made that abundantly clear. So without prejudice to that position that we have taken, I repeat it, we are not in favor of the property tax at this time. I'm not going into a whole rational reasons for that. We made it clear and we'll continue to make it clear. So I'll move along from that. But I have concerns in law. And again, Minister Hines talked about member of a superior going to court and member. Where do you want me to go on the battlefield? In a democracy, the courthouse is the place. When there are disputes in a civilized democratic country, the Supreme Court is a guardian of the Constitution. That is where we go. In days of old, you'll go on the battlefield and you'll bring out your guns and your spears and your whatever other kinds of swords. That's what it was. We've long moved away from that kind of barbarism to where we go to the courts. And therefore, I make no apology for when we approach the courts, win, lose, or draw. And most times, we do win in the courts of law. We do win. So don't quarrel about going to court because we've gone and we've won, even on that same property tax matter. But I will not go deeper into that today. We have other times we can do it. So here we have Clause 6 of the bill, dealing with the Valuation of Land Act, Chapter 5803. What it does, it seeks to amend Section 14 of the Valuation of Land Act. And Madam, I want to read this a little carefully because part of it is already in the law. We must remember this Valuation of Land Act was way back from, 1969, if I'm not mistaken. So that 1969-70. So it's very old. It's an old piece of law. And some of the provisions contained within it would be what is known as saved law, that it was there in force before the Constitution. But if it is that you're introducing new measures that were not caught under that savings law clause, then you know what happens. You cannot pass it into law with a simple majority, which is what you're wanting to do today. That's what you're attempting to do today. So I'm asking, it says where the requirement, this is Section 14, contained in the amendments in Clause 6 of the bill before this Honourable House, where the Commissioner, and this will be the Commissioner of Valuations, requires information from the Board of Inland Revenue, the Registrar General, the Registrar of the Supreme Court, an officer employed in or in connection with a department of government.
Member for Superior.
Yes, ma'am.
Your original speaking time is now. You're entitled to additional 15 minutes.
Shall I please get those 15 minutes?
Yes,
Thank you very much. And that takes us up to
38.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have A, B, C, D. BIR, Registrar General, Registrar Supreme Court, officer implied or in connection with the Department of Government, other than department concerned with administration of the Income Tax Act. All those 4 areas, madam, are caught within the Savings Law Clause. They were there from since the 1969 Valuation Ordinance, no Valuation Act. Okay, I can't take umbrage to that, but we may also consider taking umbrage to that legally, I mean. But here we are now in this bill. The government now wants to add E, F, G, H, and one more. Yes. E, F, G, H as follows. Where the Commissioner requires information from, this is new now, madam, the Trinidad and Tobago Postal Corporation, established under the TNT Postal Corporation Act. That's E, new. F, new. The WASA Water and Storage Authority, established under the WASA Act. G, the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, established under the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission Act. Or H, an officer employed by or in connection with an entity listed in paragraph E, F, or G. So all these are new provisions, madam, that will really invade into the privacy provisions protected under the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Privacy provisions. And if I may, one of the cases Minister Hines alluded to, attempted to allude to, went up to the Court of Appeal, was very clear about privacy provisions. These here, for ones already existing, caught and saved under the savings law provisions. But these new ones, Madam Speaker, cannot be passed by a simple majority in this manner in the Parliament. When the Postal Corporation gives information, when the Commissioner requires it, when WASA gives out information, I don't know what information WASA will give. I know that the Property Tax Act talks about how many washrooms you have and how many sinks and what. Maybe that's what WASA is going to give, but that's private information. What would the Electricity Commission give to the Commission of Valuations? What is envisaged? What is envisaged by including these new entities to provide to the Commission of Valuations information? And it talks about it must be given in a prescribed form. That's another point. Such information shall be furnished to the Commissioner in the form as approved by him. Is there a form we have seen? I have not seen any. What is in this form? When you seek information, you read asking for Dr. Rudal Murilal. How many washrooms, Wasa, does he have in his house? MP Dinesh Rambali. Well, I know you all like lights and festival. How many light bulbs do you have in that house? What is the information? What is the form? We do not have sight of any form.
Respectfully rise on, hold on. I respectfully rise on Standing Order 48-1, Madam Speaker. I had to look through this bill 3 times to find substantive clauses that resemble this. It is not there, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, some people are not known for speaking the truth. That is totally false. The bill is before this House. I can quote the clauses.
Continue. I've ruled and continue, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so not accustomed to getting a bly, you know. Aliwi, I thank you. These clauses are contained, they are provided for at clause 6 of the bill. This is the bill before the House. And I've quoted exactly from the bill. So I'm saying all these new entities, they are to provide, they must furnish to the Commissioner in the form as approved by him. What is the form? I looked in the parent law, I have found no form. I have looked in this amending bill, there is no form. How can we pass this and allow this to go through when we don't know what they're going to ask for? Next time they'll be asking personal information. TNTech, WhatsApp, Postal Corporation, who else? All these people. What do you want to find out? We need to know that. You cannot pass this first with a simple majority, and if you do, we are taking you to court, like it or not. You cannot do it. So on that point, clause 6 with section 14, and I have a further objection to this, madam. So one is they should provide to the Commissioner whatever the Commissioner wants in the form approved by him. Is it him, the Commissioner, or is it him, the Minister? Who's going to approve this form? First of all, we haven't seen the form, and if there's one, tell us what the form wants. What are you going to ask? Are you going to send to the BIR? I want the BIR information of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Is that what's going to be in that form? This is private information, and we need to know. We need to know. And don't come to tell you police knocking on my door, because none is knocking unless you send them. Unless you send them. None. My hands are clean and my heart is pure. The second piece of this I take objection to is, as I say, on the form approved by him and within the time frame prescribed by the Minister by order. The same drafting formula. Again, it cannot be by order. We don't know what this minister is going to put in there. That order should come to the Parliament for scrutiny, subject to negative resolution of the Parliament. So we cannot, and with greatest respect, approve these things. I know you're busy to get property tax for years and if we'll be holding you. But when you do something, you must do it in accordance with law, with natural justice and fairness and the rule of law. And we will support you. We will support you when you bring good law. We cannot support these. I have one last point on this, madam. And I must thank MP Saddam Hussein, who's a great researcher from time to time. I thank him very much, as we all are great researchers from time to time. No, we are still talking about the sharing of information. Madam, do we understand when the Commissioner of Valuations is seeking information, he's also required to give information. The Commissioner of Valuations has to share information with the BIR. because it is the BIR who will be responsible for collecting the property tax. So commissioner does evaluations and assess you have to pay X dollars or Y dollars in property tax based on your valuation. And then he has to share it with the BIR, but we have a serious problem with that. Because again, we are moving left to right or right to left or left foot to right foot and in the wrong order, not paying attention to what is already existing on our statute book. So here I have here a memorandum from the Valuation Division, madam, dated 10th August 2021. It is addressed to Ms. Suzette Lee Chi, Permanent Secretary. This is Valuation Division, Ministry of Finance. To Suzette Lee Chi, Permanent Secretary. From Emeris Garraway Howell, Commissioner of Valuations. Date 10th August 2021. Subject: the effect of Section 6C, C as in candy, of the Data Protection Act on Valuation Division's ability to share data with the BIR and Ministry of Local Government. Very important, because BIR is to administer this property tax, and local government, we hear a lot of talk about local government, where local government will benefit from the money and all this money going to local government. I think it's further from the truth, and I'll deal with that on another day. So Ministry of Local Government will get all this money from property tax. Not true, eh? Let's take that up front. It's not true. And by the way, this kind of underhand way to stop holding local government, we totally condemn the government's move to not hold local government elections. I'll not go too far on that point, madam. It's something we will speak a lot more of. And be warned, we are going to court on that matter as well. You will not escape so easily. You will not. So here we are. Section 6 of the Data Protection Act on Valuation Division's ability to share data with the BIR and Ministry of Local Government. And this is what the Commissioner of Valuations is saying, and I quote, Valuation Division is mandated under the Valuation of Land Act, Chapter 5803, Section 25, that upon the creation of the valuation role, to share same, which is the role, with the Board of Inland Revenue and the Ministry of Local Government, and such persons as may be prescribed. The information to be shared shall consist of the name, address of property owners. Such information, according to the Data Protection Act, Section 2D, is considered personal data. And Section 6 of this Act prohibits the division from sharing such data. So the data cannot be shared from valuations to BIR and to local government. It continues the memo. It is noteworthy that the effect of this section of the Data Protection Act is that it overrules Section 25 of the Valuation Act and thereby makes it difficult for the implementation of Section 25. And that 25 was to share the data. As you're aware, the valuation role facilitates the collection of revenue via property tax by the BIR. Therefore, I am concerned that should the Data Protection Act remain in its current form, not fully proclaimed, then Valuation Division would find difficulty in successfully achieving its mandate. The following is therefore recommended. And this is not the UNC, this is from the Valuations Commissioner. Recommends that the Data Protection Act be fully proclaimed. Option 1. This would mean that Section 42, which provides, and I quote, except as provided under any other law, written law, personal information under the control of a public body may only be disclosed for the purposes for which the information was collected or compiled by the public body. So that's one. For use consistent with that purpose. So that's an option. Or the Data Protection Act be repealed. It is my hope you would give serious consideration to this matter. Since this was done since last year sometime, August 2021, what has happened with this? What is the status of the Data Protection Act? What is the status of that together with the valuation statute? What is going on about this? We need to get some answers as well. So as I close, Madam, I want to thank you very much for this time to speak on this finance bill. I have little or no hope that any of these measures will bring any relief to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, any real relief. I have no real hope that it will help deal with the serious crime problem that we have. And therefore, we will support or not support, it makes no difference. You need a simple majority except for those provisions I outlined, which invade privacy provisions under the Constitution, and if passed by a simple majority, your majority today will be challenged and struck down in a court of law. I thank you all very much, and I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minister of Finance.
The Let's Fit smartwatch makes it a lot more affordable for you to get the technology that you have oh so sought after for years. What's great about it is the fact that you're going to get your step counting, your calorie tracking, your sleep counting, and you're also going to get the ability to receive messages right on the watch. Hey, you're even going to be able to control whether or not you pick up a call, whether you move a song forward or back a song up on your playlist. And on top of that, up to 10 days of battery life. I know what you're saying. How could I be getting all of that for this price? Well, the people at Let's Fit have done it just for you.
Today being Friday, welcome to Facts Not Fiction, of course, on DouglAR Politics. You know, we give way for the honorable political leader, so that's the reason for the delay. And of course, I hope that you would have paid utmost attention to her contribution today as she speaks on those pieces of legislation. There is a video. But first, let me welcome you. Let me welcome each and every one of you, our viewers, our listeners, those of you who continue to tune in and to spread the message, the DouglAR message that we bring to you on a weekly basis throughout the social media platforms. There is a video that is circulating on social media. And that video is in relation to the Rose Hill School in East Dry River. And of course, that Rose Hill RC School, ladies and gentlemen, in Laventille, you know, after we have seen what happened and the trauma and so on that our kids would have been through, I was so taken aback when I saw what appears to be a statement on social media by the 3D man. And I think by now you will have a clear understanding as the acronym that I use, which is 3Ds. 1D, 2D, 3D. And that's the acronym that I use to describe the National Security Minister, the 3D man. And if you want, those Ds will simply represent dumb, dunce, and dotish. That is what the 3D would represent. Dumb, dunce, and dotish. And I will further strengthen my position. I will further strengthen my position today by allowing you to understand why this 3Ds is so important, which represent the Minister of National Security. So in this video, we saw where children by the advice of a teacher, were laying on the floor. And there was a reason why I would think that the wisdom of this teacher applies in that scenario. But let me read for you a statement on social media which is purported to be that of the Minister of National Security, who I call the 3D man. Dumb, dunce, and dotish. So let me read. The video of the children of the Rose Hill RC School in Laventille laying themselves on the ground at the sound of automatic gunfire, and in which the voice of the teacher telling them, shh, shh, signaling that they keep quiet, was quite misleading. I want to let you listen what appears to be, or what is alleged to be, a statement put out by the Minister of National Security. So guys is saying that the action of the teacher signaling that they kept quiet when she was telling them shh, shh, is quite misleading. You could be forgiven for thinking that gunmen were actually on the compound, Hines said. They were not. In fact, the actual shooting took place about 200 meters away. This video, which went viral, came to my attention only yesterday. The event occurred on Monday. The commissioner, the COP, and the senior superintendent of Port of Spain Division briefed me on the facts. The school administration made it quite clear that children were not ever in danger. So Hines went on to say, the children was not ever, from that incident, at peril of any physical danger. It was the trauma and fear that gripped them all. Sadly, this was not the first time. Within recent weeks, they had had this unfortunate experience on a couple of occasions. So often, actually, that the board taught and their school practiced a routine of getting down whenever gunshots are heard. Chances are that, depending on where they live, very unfortunately, they may have that experience. They may have experienced this at home as well. We will get down to the nitty-gritty just now. The people of the community laid the facts bare and indicated the outcome they seek. DCP Christopher and Lieutenant Colonel Singh of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force attended to the technical security issues and gave the school administration the assurance that state's action would be such that classes can resume safely come Monday. So let me just break up this a little bit. So what Hines is telling you is that the conduct of the teacher was misleading to the public. Hines is telling us that the conduct of the teacher gave the impressions that gunmen were in the school or in the classroom or on the premises. He said that was misleading. He said the shooting take place some 200 meters away. So these children were really not in any serious danger. They were not in any serious danger. So peril there will simply mean serious and immediate danger. So there wasn't no serious and immediate danger. While gunshots with automatic guns were taking place 200 meters away from the school. Hines is telling you that there wasn't any present or any immediate danger with gunfire taking place 200 meters away from the school. You see, that is why I said that this is the 3D man, dumb, dunce and dotish. Because those automatic weapons, those AR-15 and other automatic weapons that is being used, any expert will share with you that these guns will kill you dead. You will be dead within any range of 200 meters. You will be dead as a duck. But the National Security Minister is telling Trinidad and Tobago that the teacher actions was misleading, and not only misleading, but the children was not in any danger from 200 meters away from rapid gunfire. Well, let's see how dotish this minister really are.
Yeah, Victor. The security minister don't understand procedures in a school. You see, we know the point he's trying to make. But if you really understand something about a school situation where you have a large number of children with gunshots firing, yes, they practice to go down on the floor, but the purpose of saying shh is to keep the children calm. Because if they started to bawl and scream, then the teacher will not be able to hear everything that is happening and to guide the process when to get up, when to stand up. Right? So that's the purpose of saying shh. You keep the children calm. They know not to say anything. And she had to keep saying it. Shh. Before children start screaming. Because when they start screaming, chaos could outbreak. So that's the purpose. Poor 3D man. Dumb, dotish, and what it is?
Dumb, dunce, and dotish.
Dumb, dunce, and dotish. Yeah. Right? So, he just demonstrated to people how DDD he is.
Exactly. So, it seems like Hines have some kind of guidance on these bullets. So, he know that the children wasn't in no danger. Are you talking about 200 meters, Archie?
No.
200 meters, a bullet hit you, you're dead.
Now, that is a school with plenty more classes, right? If you notice, you weren't hearing any children screaming. So, every teacher had to keep telling the children, shh, shh, right? Because, let's just suppose a teacher wasn't in one of those classes and the children started to scream, then that will cause panic in the other classes. That man really dumb, dotish, and dunce and disgusting and really, boy.
If the teacher didn't do what she did, Archie, these children could have get out of control. They could have started to run. But here it is. He, as the National Security Minister, on that same post, he said that some of these children probably have this action taking place at home. Added to that, Hines so shameless, dunce and dotish and dumb that he telling us that this is not the first time that happened. He say a couple of occasions this occur in the same area. So this occur on a couple of occasions, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever occasion, because that was what he said. He said this happens. This is not the first time. It happened on a couple of occasions before. And you as the National Security Minister have the gall to stand up and tell this country that that is not new. In other words, what Hines is telling us is that we're supposed to be adjusted and get accustomed to this, because it happened once, it happened twice, so it happened the third time. It shouldn't be a big deal. That is what the man telling us. So if he tell us it happened about 3 occasions or 2 occasions already, you understand? Boy, I really don't know what's wrong with people in this country. See the people in this country, something really wrong with all your people.
And I am telling you, don't be surprised if some dotish talks that have come out about how the teacher taking out their phone and recording that situation is against the teaching service regulations, and next minute you're going to hear the teacher up on disciplinary hearing. Wait for it.
Well, let that come. Let them do that, Archie, and they will see if all hell and break loose in this country. Let them feel, you see, this government feel that they could just do what they want and we just had to take what they're doing and we don't have an option. I want to tell Hines and Jacob and Rowley, we have plenty options in this country. We have options to stand up for what is right, and we have lawful options.
I'm telling you this because I remember when Jayanti had released the information on the special branch. The content of the special branch wasn't important, They was important on who leaked the information. And they always do that, There's more than one occasion this thing, They don't concerned about the issues that were raised, They're concerned about where the leak of this information came from.
What?
So you watch it and see that they say, because really and truly, it is really against the teaching service regulations for the teacher to do that. But I am telling you something. It is important that we saw that video for us to appreciate what is going on there so that we will know how to take certain actions.
Archie, I don't care about what teaching service or regulation say. This is a situation where rapid gunfire is taking place. While this gunfire taking place, the teacher could only suspect and hear, because rapid gunfire, Archie, will confuse anybody. It will sound like if it's right under your foot. So the teacher, I would think, were acting in the best interest of the children, just in case a child or anybody should have get shot by this loose gunfire that was flying, according to Hines, 200 meters away, where he believed is a safe zone. This teacher had acted in the interest of the children and in the interest of safety. So I don't care what regulations say when coming to things like gunfire within the perimeter of 200 meters of a school, because actually those weapons and the ammunition that those weapons fire will go through the block, come through you, come through me, and still kill somebody in the back.
And next thing they will say is, it is against the law to record people children without their permission. Nothing to do with the gunshot something, Nothing to do with that. That is your DDD, man.
Well, that is how the government behave. What this government do over the years, we have seen it. The government look for somebody to blame for their failure, their incompetence, their dotishness, their dumbness. That is what they do. They always look for somebody to blame. It ain't nothing new. We have seen the behavior of this government for the past 7 years. And that is what the government do. They find somebody to blame. So when I read where Hines is telling us that these children would have in some way even experienced this kind of behavior at home, then it tells me that the National Security Minister should be interviewed by the police, and he should give a statement as to his knowledge as to what home and whose children have experienced this kind of gun type behavior, shots busting by the home.
Were you talking about, he's the minister, he is not only the Minister of National Security, he is the substantive Commissioner of Police.
And that is why they should interview Hines, because if Hines is telling us that, look, this thing is a regular thing, this is nothing strange, this set of gunshot by schools is nothing strange, then what does that speak to the air of the citizens of this country? Your National Security Minister saying to you that gunshots in the vicinity of schools, it is nothing strange. This happened on a couple of occasions already. So
Victor,
because it happened on a couple of occasions, then we should be all right with it happening. And that is the problem I am having, actually.
That is a news article you read out there. The man really say that?
Look at here on a post.
Right. Well, here what? I gave him right to say what he want to say, because the media take that and put that out as something. They put that out. That is not even information. That must be facts they feel they put in out there. Right? Now you tell me, Hines is a man who tear gas a couple people in the savannah for protesting. Right? And then about 7 years ago, he want 250,000 people to block Wrightson Road. Right? Now, if this same thing happen, let's say the UNC takes government and it have shooting in a school, boy, you could imagine what Hines and them will say. Them is flip-flop. Them is flip-flop, aided and abetted by the media. They could do what they want. They could cancel elections. They could do anything they want. They could vote apart, right? They could cut up the seats, right? Somebody was pointing out to me something in point 14. It has seats down there with 1,000 people in it. It have one seat in Kuvatal Paro Corporation, bigger and have more people than the whole of point 14. Inequality. They could do what they want, and they could do what they want because the media supports and hold up everything this government doing. So I am surprised you telling me there is a newspaper report. So you want to tell me the reporter can ask a question?
No, this post, it is on Fitzgerald Hines' page.
Oh!
Right?
Oh!
That is where it is. And let me
But all right.
Let me go through it again.
That would have come out at least a day ago.
Yeah, a day ago.
And you want to tell me they have one newspaper person, one media person who will take up that and mash it up for what it is?
So here the post. Here the whole post. The video of the children of the Rosehill RC School in Laventille laying themselves onto the ground at the sound of automatic gunfire, and in which the voice of the teacher telling them shh, shh, signaling that they kept quiet, was quite misleading. You could be forgiven for thinking that gunmen were actually on the compound. They were not. In fact, the actual shooting took place about 200 meters away. This video, which went viral, came to my attention only yesterday. The event occurred on Monday. The COP and the Senior Superintendent Port of Spain Division briefed me on the facts that the school administration made it quite clear that the children were not ever from the incident in peril of any physical danger. It was the trauma and fear that gripped them all. Sadly, this was not the first time. Within recent weeks, they had this unfortunate experience on a couple of occasions, Hines said. So often, actually, that the board thought that their school practiced a routine of getting down. Whenever gunshots are heard, chances are that depending on where they live, very unfortunately, they may have experienced this at home as well, Hines said. The people of the community lay the facts bare and indicate the outcome they seek. DCP Christopher and LT Colonel Singh of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force attended to the technical security issues and give the school administration the assurance that state action will be such that class can resume safely come Monday. So Hines tell us that this had happened on a couple of occasions. So this is not new. So Trinidad and Tobago should not take issue with what happened on that fateful Monday. We should not take issue with that. That is not important simply because Hines said it happened a couple of times already. Added to that, he also said to us that these children may very well be accustomed with this at their home. So what Hines is telling us, the father, the brother, the sister, the mother, the aunt, the nene, and whoever, you understand? These children probably accustomed hearing gunshot ring out at their home. So the father, the mother, whoever shooting up the place as well. Added to that, he said that there was no serious peril. And I tell you, peril simply means any serious or immediate danger. They were in no peril whatsoever because gunshot was just 200 meters away. You see, Hines so dumb, dunce, and dotish that he probably believed 200 meters is 200 miles. That is where he probably believed. 200 meters, one of these shots hit you, you are as dead as a goose. That is the reality. What Hines feel 200 meters really is. They safe. Rapid gunfire, automatic gunfire, 200 meters. And they're safe. They're not in no immediate danger. They're not in no serious danger. Because 200 meters, you big idiot. That is what you are, is an idiot. Having you sitting down at the hem of national security, and that is what comes out of your mouth. All you can be real in this country, all you cannot be real in this country. And as Archie rightly said, I ain't seen no newspaper tear this apart. I ain't seen no newspaper show the failure of the National Security Minister and the Commissioner of Police for what is happening. I saw a map, a Google map layout, where they show you where Besson Street, how far Besson Street is. They say Besson Street is a matter of 12 minutes walking distance to where the gunfire was. 6 minutes driving. But as people want to protest, you have guard and emergency, you have task force, you have CID, you have every unit outside, every unit waiting to share tear gas. But gunshot rappelling outside a school 200 meters, and you telling this country that the children wasn't in any immediate or serious danger? That is what you say, Hines? Hines, I feel somebody hack your account. I feel somebody hack your account and post this. You could never post this, although I know you is the 3D man. You could never be so dunce, dumb and dotish to post something like this, to tell us that gunshot 200 meters away, rapid automatic fire, where we just had a child killed in a savannah. You said wrong place, wrong time. That way you tell us this country, the intention wasn't to kill the child. So you is now in the minds of those who firing those weapons. You are now within the minds of those people who squeeze those triggers. So you know what the intentions are. You know, you and your government tell this country, all you know the gang leaders, all you know where the guns is, all you know everything, you, your government, Al-Wari, all of you guys, all you know, but yet all you know. But today, bullet like rain by a school, and you consoling Trinidad and Tobago by telling them that it was only 200 meters away from the school. So the children was not in any serious and immediate danger. Boy, what a dotish idiot we have as a Minister of National Security in this country.
In that post, did he not say that he was only made aware of a situation based on a viral video? Did he say something like that? That he was only made aware of the situation based on a video that went viral or something?
He said this video, which went viral, came to my attention only yesterday.
Only yesterday. So
Right.
you as a Minister of National Security, a big thing like that, the whole country know. And I know the country knew almost about 10 minutes after, because when we put up that post, right, after we received the post, we put it up about 3 minutes so after the incident. We put it up and there was 250,000 views of that in less than 3 hours. And it had 4,000 shares. And you trying to tell me that that man said he was only made aware, 24 hours ago?
You see, I want to say
Is the
something.
Minister of National Security? So he have no intelligence information, something serious like that going down. He don't have people on the field that will tell him, hey, big thing happening, boy. Shoot out up by the school, right? And he go on and find out and fly in a helicopter and go and what? So wait, and what about all the army men and thing? What, they just sit down there and say, boy, them fellas was shooting up there? Eh?
Archie, that video is a few minutes. That video is a few minutes long. That video, Archie, had rapid gunfire. It appears as though there was a response. Then we hear rapid gunfire while the teacher saying, shh, shh. Then a period about 30, 40 seconds past, gunfire. That video was a couple minutes. Besson Street Police Station is 3 minutes driving away from the school. That is in Port of Spain, East Dry River, Lavantil. We have all the arms of the protective services right around there. We have the defense force. We have IATF base on Charlotte Street. We have everything. We have helicopters. We have everything. Somebody will tell you, well, shots flying, helicopter can't fly. That is a lie. The helicopter will need to fly at a certain height. All right? They will need to fly at a certain height. The specialists will inform and said what guns they thought to believe that is being used, and the helicopter could fly at a safe distance.
Yes, but you have drones now.
Right.
That could fly
we have
any height.
so much at the hands of the police that you will tell me that this video run for so many minutes and the police have no footage. The police seems to be guessing, because this rubbish that Hines speak here, this bunch of hogwash that Hines speak here, it tells me that Hines have no intelligence as to what occurred.
But you know, I was remembering the last commissioner of police had brought in a piece of equipment that could tell when gunfire take place and where it came from and zero and pinpoint on
Yes.
it. I vaguely remember
That-
Gary
that-
Griffith talking about that.
They boast of that. Actually, this is incompetence at the highest form. And let me tell you something. I not really coming down on Duns and Dotish, you know. I really coming down on he too heavy, you know. I coming down on the population of this country. Them is who I coming down on. Because actually I saw some people comment under that same post and say, oh, don't worry, them are custom with gunshot in tongue, them are custom here in that, them train and them alright. I am telling you how the population has become so naive.
Well, if they feel that all right, every time I watch any news, yesterday, businesswoman coming home, closing the gate, she gets shot, businessman, 3 fellas from town come and hold up Rattan jewelers, rob them, and here now, plenty crime against the business and home invasion and things. So those say people are accustomed to that. what they're getting accustomed to is this dotish PNM government.
This situation, the population of this country, them is who I want to deal with here this evening. Them is who I going and deal with here this evening. You know why?
But still, Victor, the population probably looking for some champions, eh? So you have to dust out your coffin and whatever, and they're looking because it's all well and good to call on the population, but thinking about a common housewife and a husband, you know, they vex and they fed up of the situation. But what could that one couple do? Sometimes they need, you know, revolution type people to lead something so they could come out and...
I'm coming to all that here this evening, Archie. I'm coming to all that here this evening. See, this evening, I want people to pay attention because I'm coming to all that here this evening. Let me tell you something with this population. I said it a couple weeks ago that this population have since becomes an adjustable tool. They have become, you see this here? This is commonly known as a crestal wrench or a shifting spanner. We could turn this and it will close. We could turn this and it will open. And we could just keep turning this here this evening. And more I turn this, is more it open. What's the significance of what I'm saying? You see? It open. And then we could close it back. So I want to deal with the first part of the opening and closing. This is commonly known as a tool. This tool is very important. But this tool is very important when? This tool is only important when you have to use it. If you do not ever have to use this tool will sit down on your shelf and get rusted and seize up. But anytime you have to use this tool, this is when this tool becomes important. What am I saying? This is the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is the people of Trinidad and Tobago as far as the PNM is concerned. If you miss that, you could catch it on your way home. This tool is only important when you have to use it. And when you don't use this tool, you could throw it on the ground, you could throw it on your tool pan, you could throw all the tools on top of it. This tool will remain in your tool pan dormant because you have no use for it. A matter of fact, you will advantage this tool because you will throw all the rest of tools on top this piece of tool. And the only time that this tool will surface and have value is when you have to use it. When you have to use this tool, you will go down in the tool pan. You don't care if your hand get oily, dirty. You will dip in the tool pan. You will scatter everything else to find this tool. And the reason you will do that, ladies and gentlemen, is because you want to use it. This is you, the people of this country. This is you, the people of this country. You are only a tool. When Rowley, Hines, and Alwari, and Makashe, and them have use for you, when they have use for you, they will come in the pan and dig for you. In other words, they will come down in the constituency and they will walk and smile and shake your hand and make promises to you. They will tell you the world. You know why? Because that is when you becomes the tool and they have use for you. So they use you. They will dig out all of you, whether you're sick, you're in a wheelchair, you're on a stretcher. They will dig you out like you will dig this tool out of the tool pan. And they will use you, take you to the polling station. And after you're done vote, they pelt you back. They have no use for you after you done vote. After you done put them in power, they have no use for you. They treat you worse than a dog. They treat you worse than a dog. Because the dog that they mining does get the best, the bone that you can't even chew on, the bone that you can't even put in your mouth. Their dogs will crush and enjoy the aroma. Their dogs will enjoy what you cannot even smell. That is what they do with you. You think this project in San Fernando, you think this housing scheme, and that is the best name for it. The best name is the housing scheme. Because the scheme inside the building of those houses is to take you, the tool, you, the PNM's tool. They take you from all over this country and they place you within one of those units, and you are placed there for a particular purpose. You are placed there to be used as the tool. So when they pad those marginal constituencies with you, the tool, they use you, and you feel good because people, they are desperate for houses. So they put you there. And you feel good. But you are only there to keep the PNM in power. And after they utilize you as the tool, they turn wrong after and punish you. They punish you with taxes. They punish you high food prices. They punish you removing gasoline subsidy. They punish you in every form and fashion. They milk you.
Minister, in light of your response, could you confirm that you are indeed the author of a Facebook post suggesting that the video that was circulating was misleading? The children were not in any imminent danger, and therefore the teacher overreacted in the circumstances. Are you the author of that Facebook post?
Police have indicated that they intend, driven by intelligence, to ensure that there are more static patrols. In other words, they remain on that and surrounding locations far more permanently, Madam Speaker, and that they intend as well to have some counseling sessions with the staff and the students. And that the IATF Hearts and Minds program of the police service will work with the school to develop and educate and expose the children and the staff to other things, and to reach out to the general community, because that problem is symptomatic of other issues in the general community, as members of the community indicated. Madam Speaker, I am satisfied that the police are fully aware of the goings-ons in that area, and they have identified the technical solutions they propose to put in place to create a more safe and comfortable environment for the staff and the students of the.
So this man refused to answer the question. Refused to answer the question. Added to that,
Yeah, this is just some statistics. He was saying 200 meters.
effective firing range,
Effective firing range.
550 meters. But Heinz tell us that 200 meters, there was not any immediate or serious danger poses to the children. What a dunce, dumb, and dotish Minister of National Security. I could imagine how the world laughing at these idiots. So he refused to answer if it's his posts. But we know. But the point I am developing, ladies and gentlemen, is that out of the housing scheme, they scheme you away by putting you there as a voting bank in order to stay in power. And after they get in power, ladies and gentlemen, then they decide to open you, expand you, and they open you in some case until you tear. They stretch you open in some cases until you tear, until you have no value, till you cannot afford. They put measures in place, and when they don't put measures in place to pressure you, then they come back and they tell you that you're not paying your rent and we have to take action to evict you, because they already stretch you apart, they already drain your resources, and then they want to kick you out at the same units that they put you in to stay in power, to bring fresh users, to bring fresh tools, to bring fresh people, to keep them in power, while you are now like a dog on the street. That is what they are doing to you. That is what is happening to you. That is what this government continues to bring to the table. And until you African people in this country realize that you are still in slavery, you are enslaved by the ideology of those who use you to keep themselves rich within the system of governance, while you cannot and you would not be able to stand as men and women, where you will be able to mind your family with dignity. This is a time, ladies and gentlemen, where our mothers have to do what is extraordinary to put food on the table. Now is time, ladies and gentlemen, where fathers has now becomes vulnerable to every and any given situation to put food on the table. Now is the time where parents actually sending their children to commit crime to survive. And if you don't want to believe it, then you fool yourself. Heinz just said that he is quite happy that the police and the IATF would be able to put the technical support in place to safeguard the schools.
Look, another fact sent by your editor. This thing is saying that a 9mm caliber
Luga
cover 2,300 meters. So if the minister is saying about 200 meters ago, those children were in the war zone?
These children in Archie, I tell you, I come in to deal with the population, you know. It's them I come in to deal with, you know. These children is not only in the war zone, and that is why I will classify that teacher as my hero. That teacher is a hero to me. Because Archie, if you notice, the teacher was not on the ground, you know. The teacher was looking and watching and ensuring. In other words, the teacher was more in a position to get hit with a shot than the students who were flat on the ground. She was watching and looking to make sure, as far as she could see, to ensure that the children are safe.
Not only that, to ensure that the actual people who shoot in the guns are not in the premises and on the premises.
Archie, I tell you this National Security Minister, dumb, dunce and dotish, because let me tell you something. Archie, when people under gunfire, they just run anywhere. And let me tell you something. These people could have very well end up in the school. Let me tell you why. Archie, if a man fire in here with a handgun, pow, 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 and then just opposite him, you hear him prrrt, 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 and that man realized that, look, my ammunition almost done, and I am in a place vulnerable to dead. That man don't mind running amongst children to save his own life. He don't mind running in a school because he believe running in the school may deter the other side with automatic weapons, having some kind of consideration that there is children, so he may not shoot. But we have seen in this country, that children is not a deterrent for those with automatic weapons. We have seen that. We know that. We understand that. We have seen the consequences of a lot of our children being shot in many cases in this country. So when Hines speaking about the children was in no serious or immediate danger, that man is just a big idiot. You understand? And I hear Rowdy bawling and looking for mercy and talking about have respect for elders. Rowdy, who want to have respect for you? Who would want to have respect for a liar like you, Keith Rowdy? A nasty liar like you, who tell us that you're not closing on Petrotrin. You tell us that. You think anybody have respect for you? You think anybody have respect for Alwari and Hines? You think anybody have respect for anyone out here who sits in the cabinet? You think anybody have any respect for anyone at all your PNM ministers and MPs? Nobody have respect for all you, because all you don't respect nobody. All you don't even respect God, much less man. All you have no respect for yourself. We have seen allegation where women in the cabinet. I want to go there this evening. I want to go there. But we have seen where you men use these women like football. So what respect are they talking about? How respect for who? How respect for who, Keith Rowley? Respect what? What must we respect about you, Keith Rowley? Tell me. Tell Victor Roberts here today what we must respect about you. What we must respect about Hines. What we must respect about Stuart Young. What we must respect about Faris Alwari. What respect we must have for A.G. Lymore. What respect? We have a bunch of criminals running this country. And I said last week, what is happening on the streets is a mirror as to what is happening in government. The criminals on the street will rob you with guns. The politician will rob you with words. The biggest robbers in this country is you who sit in government. The biggest robbers. So what do they expect will happen in this country? What all they expect will happen? Only allow the government to use and abuse all you. All you folks who supporting the PNM still, you is just as evil as the PNM. Because you cannot tell me in Trinidad and Tobago today, we have seen the wrath of the PNM. We have seen the corruption of the PNM. We have seen the mismanagement of the PNM. We have seen the abuse of the PNM. And yet to the end of the day, you people still stand up, still sit down, still lie down in this country. I want to ask a question. What would have been your words if 2 or 3 or 4, God forbid, of those little children were shot as a result of crossfire in that school? What would have been your position, Trinidad and Tobago?
The same position as the 4 divers that dead in the pipe.
What would be your position? Is it to say because it's not your child, it is all right? Is it to say because it's not your cousin, it's all right? What would have been your position today? I have seen where you people have adjusted yourself to murders in this country. You have adjusted yourself to murder in this country. When was 2 murders? You talk. When was 3 murders? You see how I address it here? 4 murders. The country just cool. Everybody adjust themselves. What we go do? You know why? Only adjusting on yourself because 4 of those murders is not 4 of your family. So you still adjust. You still adjust. Adjust yourself. You keep adjusting yourself. Every evil in this country, you adjust yourself to suit it. You adjust yourself to suit it. And you will see what will become of you and your family. You cannot afford to allow yourself, people, to be used by any government. You cannot afford yourself to be used by any government. And if you allow yourselves to be used by a government, whether it's UNC or PNM, then you are just another idiot with the breath of life in your body. That is what you are. I am yet to understand how come you people, how come you, my black African brothers and sisters, could sit down for all these years and see the way in which you are treated by a government that you say is your government. They open and close you as they see it fit. They utilize you whenever they so choose. And then they throw you in the pan until they're ready to use you again. My grandparents have accepted that. Even my parents have that. But it takes me as a descendant of my grandparents to object to that treatment and that behavior by my own kind. By my own kind. It took me to educate my children to stand up against oppression, to stand up against racialism, to stand up against any form of injustice. It take me from my generation, coming out of my ancestors in the bowels of slavery. It take me. It take Victor Roberts to emancipate his mind from the teachings of my grandparents and my parents. It takes me to make the difference, to stand up in the gap against my own African oppression. And if I could stand up against my own African oppression, it tells you that I am going to stand up against oppression from anybody. I have seen what my parents went through. I have seen the days where my mother would do as Keith Scotland said, will roast a piece of breadfruit on the same coal pot. And my father will said, roast a piece of saltfish to go with that. I have seen my mother cook green fig and make fig tal curry. So we eating fig and fig. Don't watch me so. Watch yourself. Watch your life. Don't watch me so. I have been through the trenches. I have been through hard times. But I stand on my two legs. And with a strong mind, I have decided that I am not going to allow any political party to oppress me or my children. I take them anywhere I go, from Omar being 10 years. When people call, Roberts, we have a problem, I say, let's move. Because I want them to understand that there must be the change in this country. I want them to understand that they must stand for what is right. I want them to understand that they must fight against oppression. I want them to understand that they must fight from the slavery of the PNM. My PNM, African brothers, it is time you open your eyes and emancipate yourself from that slavery that they have you in. You are so enslaved that you cannot even think and see clearly. Yesterday I asked a friend, I said, my friend, my brother, what's the texture? What's the color? what they have done for us. I ask, where is the African supermarket and the African pharmacy and the African contractor? Where are they? But yet we still say that's our government. We still say that's our people. Could you imagine back in the days of slavery in Africa? Who was the African enemy? The African enemy was his own brother, his own neighbor. And then we blame the Europeans. We refuse to blame ourselves for our greed. But we blame the Europeans, and I'm not saying that they should not be blamed. But let us start to put the blame from the root. Because if my black brother didn't catch me, I had a chance. And today, you are allowing your black brother who have already caught you, who is now using you as this tool, who is now using you as like a tool. They use you. They stay in power. They enrich themselves. They enrich their families. Could you imagine the family of Rowley and Stuart Young and Sinanan and Alwari? 3-4 generations down the road will born into wealth. They will born into richness. They will born into money. While you, African, will have to live in poverty. You will live in poverty. While this administration family, generations to come, will be born into wealth, into money, into your resources. Simply because they have utilized and they have used you like this spanner. While your family down the road 2, 3, 4 generations will live like dogs on the street. This is not about UNC, you know. This is about you. This is about you, my people. It's about you. Open your eyes. See it for what it is, and see them for what they are. It is a case of modern day slavery that you are entrenched in by those who utilize our hair and our color to manipulate, to control, and to enrich themselves, while you pay the taxes, while you cannot afford a home, while you can't send your children to school, while you cannot buy textbook, while you cannot buy uniform, where you cannot buy food. They have devised a plan for you, the black man, for you, the African man. They don't care about the East Indian, you know. Don't fool yourself. You think them care? They care about you, the African. Not in the sense to make a better way of life for you, but to keep you as the tool, because they know they will stay in power with you as the tool. They don't even need the Indian support. They know with you as the tool, they don't care. You doesn't listen to Rowley. Kamlan she people. Kamlan them people. Who is them people? Who is she people? Who is Kamlan she people? Kamlan the Indians. That is the message. Subliminal that they send. Subliminal, they send that message. They don't care. Once they could keep you and they could vote a pad with you and they could put you in the housing scheme, that they will continue to benefit and enrich themselves. We have a mission to go on. We have a mission to go on. I want Archie to pull up that clip with the Cosa Nostra. And I want him to play it. I want him to play it. And then I will tell you the mission that we have to go on.
A code, a mafiosi code. We keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. It's the code of the Cosa Nostra. As long as we stay together, we will survive together. And we agree not to breach the code of secrecy. A code, a mafiosi code. We keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. It's the code of the Cosa Nostra. As long as we stay together, we will survive together. And we agree not to breach the code of secrecy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a mission. African people in this country, we have a mission. We have a mission, African people. Supporters of the PNM, you have a mission. And the mission that you and I have to go on is to ensure that we can secure a future for our children. We have a mission, and we must expose each other's secret that they are involved in while they distribute your children wealth, while they distribute your children future, while they distribute your grandchildren future, Trinidad. We have a mission. How long would you live in the condition of your grandparents and your parents? My father started a house when I was about 7 years. That house never finished. until I was around 16, 17 years. And he was a staunch supporter of the PNM. A staunch supporter of the PNM. My father, my mother, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, anybody I could think about. But you know what? My mother, who is alive today, and I know my sister may be telling she listen to Victor. My mother who is alive today, my father passed. She would have ride a bike. You feel Keith Scotland, you know what he's saying? You feel it, you know? She would have ride a bike and towing me in the back. And we would have traveled for miles in LB17. The battery had ended, the road had ended by battery 5. And we would go early in the morning while my father journeyed to Port of Spain to work in Dude. Me and my mother will go to the garden and we will collect coals from the coal pit that my father and two of his partners would have put down 2-3 different coal pits. And we will go and get coals. Sometimes coals hot. Some cases we utilize the spring to bring coals home. And while we're on it, my mother will pull a few dash in. We will dig a root of cassava. We will cut a few hana fig. And we will have to tote it on our heads to meet where the bicycle would park up. And when she tie up, and we tie up everything on the bike, we will push that bike from the track till we reach by the battery. And then my mother will have me to climb up on the back of the bike while we have planting tarp in front in the tray, coals in the back, I on top the coals, and down the hill. One day we coming down the hill and I don't know what went wrong. But the next thing I know is me, my mother, the fig, the planting, the coals, everything down in a precipice in a bamboo patch. But we were supporters of the PNM. Mommy, daddy, granny, grandpa, everybody. PNM party group was under my father's house. And I'm saying this because I know you PNM could attest to what I'm saying. But you know what? They treat you like dirt. They treat you like dirt. I know some supporters of the PNM in Labre who have supported the PNM, the mother, the father, the grandfather, the grandmother, the great-grandmother, the great-grandfather, and you would be ashamed to see where they live in. You would be ashamed to see what they live in. I ain't going to identify them. But you will be ashamed. They will campaign, they will tote, they will bring, they will assist, they will do everything. And as the PNM get in power, then them had to fight and make social media posts in order to get a little 10 days. I just give you real and factual, you know. Me come here for Nancy's story. I ain't come here to be famous. I ain't come here to even look for a friend. I come here to deal with reality and to deal with the slavery, the entrapment that they have entrapped us, having to believe that governance is all about the color of your skin and the texture of your head. No, sir, that is not about governance. Governance is about creating opportunity to move the standard, to improve the standard of living in your society, to bring your people to the point where they can be self-sustained, to bring your people out of poverty and have your people enjoying the benefits of the wealth and the resources of the country which belongs to the people. Wake up, people. Why every PNM constituency is in the condition as a latrine? Tell me why. Tell me why. And you can't do like Rowley and blame Kamala. Tell me why. After the first 30 years, 56 to 86, uninterrupted, we had about 2 boom, 3 boom. Everything is boom. Everything big, boom, boom, boom. Why the African constituencies is like a pigeon nest? They have convinced us to tell us that we don't want nothing. As you bring the facts to us, the African, your mother, your father, your grandmother, you know what they're telling you? Other young people ain't want nothing. I raised this point the other day and a man put on my post, them young people ain't want nothing. I delete he forthwith. Because he is one of them who helped keep we in slavery, mental slavery. I asked a man the other day, I said, how come? How come? The man tell me, boy, Kamala come in power and all them Indian get rich. I said, all right. Okay. I said, well, if that's the case, let me do a little facts checking now. From 56 to 86. How much African businessmen you know? He started telling me about a parlor where was all the road by we. And the next parlor, Mr. Green parlor. And Miss George parlor. And this one parlor. And that one parlor. I said, okay. He started telling me about who you had some truck. I said, who had some truck? He called some name from Corey. I ain't going to call the people name. He said, them was the rubbish truck man. Them had truck used to carry rubbish and ting. I said, what's the contractor? He said, DouglAR. I said, who? He said, DouglAR. You can remember DouglAR in the back of unit? I said, boy, that time frame there, what DouglAR had? He said, boy, DouglAR had tractor, DouglAR had truck, them old Bedford, he had this, he had that, he had that. I said, so during that period of time, who is the African man down here who had some trucks and tractor and thing there? He said, nah boy, we never had that day. I said, but that was not that Kamala. I said, how come we didn't have that on that day PNM? What one day? He started telling me that, boy, it didn't have so much money in them time as few people, and they used to pick people and all kind of dotishness. People, the facts, the reality about things is that you never benefit under the PNM, you the African man. I want any African who benefited under the PNM, who is a contractor today, to call me out. I want any African who own a drugstore, and that drugstore a pharmacy, under the PNM to call me out. I want any African who have $1 million grocery under the PNM to call me out. That's what I want. Tell me why we cannot find this in this country. So no African wanted nothing. None of them wanted to be a businessman. None of them wanted to be a contractor. None of them wanted to be have a pharmacy. None of them wanted a big grocery. None of them wanted that. None of them wanted land. Check yourself. Check your government. Check your government. They come in. They come in. Do you know why they put off the local election? All they don't know why. All they plain, all they know why. You know why they put off the local election? Because they're buying some time to come back to do this. They're coming back to adjust you again. They're coming back to open you up. They're coming back to close you in. They're coming back to papi show you. They're coming back to fool you. You think they put off the local election to help you? You think they put off the local election to put money in your pocket? They put off the local election because they knew what going to be the results. They have already do all the networking. They have already concluded the statistics. They already have a very, very firm knowledge of what's going to be the outcome. So you know what? Put it off. We had to fool them again. We have to use them again. It have one or two things we have to do still to sweeten them back up. All you people who allow yourselves to be sweetened with 2 days and a little CPEP work, and a little shut down here and shut down there, and a little small thing in the corporation, and because you draw a salary for 2 or 3 fortnights, and you tell yourself, yeah, I enjoy my Christmas, you is nothing but just a selfish individual. Because what you just enjoy out of that little scenario is the heart. You're enjoying the heartbeat of your child who you ain't make yet. The child who ain't born yet. That is what you enjoy. You know why? Because when you enjoy that and you keep them wicked devils in power, what is your future? What is your future? Have you not seen what has happened to your standard of living for the past 7 years? or you adjust your mind to suit the hardship? Is it you adjust your mind to suit the hardship? Them schoolboys telling me, boy, schoolgirl gain with herself in school for a few dollars. I say, what do you mean? Anything you want for a few dollars. That is your children, you know. That is your future generation, you know. Them schoolboys saying they're unbuttoning this shirt quite down because they want you to see the tututs. You hear what I'm saying to all you? That is all your children, you know. That is all your children. If you have a 20, you get a touch. That is all your girl child. All your girl children. If you want a 20, if you have a 20, you could touch any part of the body. I started to get my son only 15. I started to get he only 15. I ain't going up to that 20 at all. 15. That is the reality, people. That is your future. That is your girl children. When you believe you could give them a sandwich and they had to make that do in school, there is always the boy who have a 20. Like all you hearing me, oh. You will amazed to know what's going on in the classroom. They had their own dancing club. And you're passing and sticking your $5, your $1 in people underwear. All you ain't understand, that is all your children. This is facts and not fiction. That is all your children. You want to see how real it is? Take all your children and carry them by the doctor for a checkup. And all you go understand how real it is. Then all you go know what happening in this country with all your dotishness. All you know what happening, you know. All you know. Boy, if all you know what going on with all your children, I think all you will just run and jump over some precipice. So while you believe everything is honky-dory, and while you believe everything nice home, and your daughter dressing properly to go to school, boy, you making joke, or you even have a clue what's going on. That is what poverty does, ladies and gentlemen. That is what the PNM is doing to your family. Destroying them and making you believe that everything is all right. You ever go somewhere and somebody offer you something to eat and you're hungry, but because of how you find the condition and the place looking, you say, nah, just eat. And if the only listener here in your belly going, like a donkey brain. But you're telling them, no, I just eat, I just had something there. I know eat something, but you're hungry to death. That is what the PNM is doing to you. Making you believe your belly full while you're hungry to death. They're convincing you. They are convincing you. You don't want nothing to eat. Your belly full. And you are convinced. Welcome, caller.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Roberts. Archie, and to everybody out there. You know, you have a store, take it up with the program. We're not studying to call or anything, but not after you said you give your child, you only giving your child $15 to go to school. Look, you have people laughing out there, you know.
You hear anything there, Archie?
Reality. You hear it?
Caller, you had to call back. We're not hearing nothing. Please call back.
All right.
Please call back, caller. Right now, we have a little difficulty there. We will try to sort it out. We are at the place where they are convincing you that your belly full While you know you're hungry, when you know that, hey, I need something. How many of you need sustenance and pretending to your neighbor that everything is all right? How many of you, when you smell your neighbor cooking, your belly boiling, but you're shame? You're shame with what is happening. You shame as to what's happening. But to the end of the day, you're pretending that everything is all right. Some of you can't even send your children to school. You have to be changing transport and changing transport. Because you can't pay this transport, you have to move them to the next transport. And when you can't pay that transport, you have to move them. And then everybody started to talk and say, hey, that woman or that man bad pay, don't carry the children. Don't carry the children. That is the pressure that you under. How many of your children going to school right now and you can't fold the book bag yet? Welcome, caller.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Roberts, Archie, and to everybody out here. Can you hear me better now?
Much better.
All right. No, you know you had everybody laughing here. You should check your chest and see with this with this $15. Excuse me, Mr. Roberts. I should tell the people why it is that Our Lady of Laventille School was shut down. He is talking a set of nonsense about he forget about collateral damage. That school up there was shut down because people were running through the school, gunmen were running through the school. So they had to close down the school. And look at Monilal asking him if he put up the post up to now he did not answer. But I don't know if you all remember, so Archie might remember this. When Kamala was Minister of Education, when they had that school on London Street, the BH4's building, they housed the model school there. Hines was one of the protesters there with asbestos. When Kamala was Minister of Education, they were protested all about because all the schools had asbestos. This time it had none in the school. But PNM liked to disrupt. Look at what's going on now with them. In those days, it was asbestos, but now it's gunman. And he is making light of what it is went on there. But you see, they can do what they want, but not for how long they want. Because something has to stop soon. It has to stop soon. Thanks a lot and have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Sandra Cruz. You cannot afford, you cannot survive. You know you cannot survive. You are hoping for America. Tonight I am asking you, the people of this country, to be that miracle for the future of your children's sake. Let us be our own miracle. We have a mission to accomplish. We have to stand up and do what is right, not for our sake, but for the sake of your girl child and your boy child. I remember as a little boy, when it's time to go a little cinema, my father couldn't afford. Everybody else going cinema except me. Them days was theater. And the day I reach, welcome, caller.
Hello, good night, Archie. Good night, Mr. Victor.
Good night, good night.
Yeah, when you listen to Hines, when they ask him about the thing with the post, up now the man answer that yes.
Correct.
So according to Ms. Santa Cruz, in them days it was asbestos, but right now it's ashes with us. That's the condition we wish now.
Correct. Thank
okay,
you, caller.
All night.
Thank you, caller. You are correct. But my father used to say, that he will not pen up his cock, but he going to safeguard he hens. You know who was he hens? My sisters. Tonight, I asking you, Trinidad and Tobago. I asking you, Trinidad and Tobago, tonight to stand up to safeguard your hens and to keep your cocks from out of prison or being murdered. We have a mission. We have a mission. And I am inviting every boy, every girl, every teenager, every man, every woman to stand up and let us accomplish that mission. Tonight, I asking you, Trinidad and Tobago, for us to demand change in this country. Let us start the process thereby holding any and every government accountable to the people. I want to ask you if you are prepared to stand with me as we head to Port of Spain in our thousands and demand the resignation of all those government officials who are involved in breaches of the Constitution, and those who have acted unethical in this country.
And in breach of the law too.
All those, ladies and gentlemen, demand their resignation. We have the authority. We have to start somewhere in this country to uphold law and order. We have to start somewhere in this country where those who run the affairs, those who we have elected to administrate, do so by the rule of law. Let us Let us be the guardian of our Constitution. Let us be the guardian of our children's future. Let us be the protectors of democracy. Let us stand in the gap, ladies and gentlemen, where the independent institution failed to stand. Let us be those independent senators. Let us be the law association. Let us be the judiciary. Let us be the integrity commission. Let us be the EBC. Let us stand, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure your girl children, my girl children, your boy children, my boy children, our grandchildren have a place in this society. I am prepared to give up any political ambition to stand in the gap for fairness, equity, transparency. Stand in the gap for the poor, the oppressed, and the downtrodden. But we all must stand together if we want to achieve that goal. We must go to Port of Spain with no less than 30,000 citizens. And we must be prepared to stand our ground. Night and day, sun or rain. To ensure that there is a future for our children. I am calling every man, woman, boy, girl, every teenager, all the youths, I am calling you. This is our country. How many of you will stand? How many of you will stand? I am prepared to stand. I am prepared to fight. I am prepared to fight for the future generation. This, ladies and gentlemen, must be the walk of the Caribbean. This must be the walk of the Caribbean. This must be the walk for justice. many more of your taxpayer money you will allow to go into the pocket of Faris Alwari? How many more of your taxpayer money must go into the hands of Rohan Sinanan? How many more of your taxpayer money must go into the hands of Stuart Young and his family? How much more recusals would you accept? Are you prepared, ladies and gentlemen, to see your sons and daughters becomes professional prostitutes? I want you tonight to look into your hearts and look into your own minds and see what you have condoned. How many more of your children's blood you want to see run on the streets of this country? How much more children you want to see go missing in this country without a trace? How many mothers have cried from their wombs with the pain and agony of their children being murdered or disappeared from the face of the earth without any answers? How many more must die before we take a stand? We must be the guardian of our democracy. We must be the protectors of our constitution. We must be that line that will hold all accountable. To do what they are paid to do. Why are we not safe in our homes? Why we are not safe on the streets? Why we are not safe anywhere in our country? It is because the criminals have now seen the criminals with the jacket and the tie. The criminals have seen the way in which the jacket and tie criminals continue to rob this country of its resources. Are you feeling safe right now where you are? Are you happy in your backyard? How many more burglar proofs would you build? It reached a stage that you may very well have to walk with a burglar proof around you with bulletproof glass. While Hines and Rowley and Rohan Sinanan and Stuart Young and Faris Alwari, why all of these government officials will utilize the armed and security forces to protect themselves and their family, they leave you vulnerable to the ills of society. You know why? Because they consider you to be nothing but a tool. You all are nothing but a tool. I am telling you tonight, I am saying to you tonight, Trinidad and Tobago, that as from next week, please the Lord, I and my team in Labre, we would be going out there on a mobilization drive. And we will mobilize the young people, the elderly folks who are able. We're going to mobilize, and we may very well go through the length and breadth of this country and we would take 30,000 people to Port of Spain who will walk, who will drive, who will ride a bicycle, who will come on the roller skate, the skateboard, anyhow. And we are going to demand in this country that law and order goes for the politicians who sits in government, and that the Constitution would be adhered to by those who ought to be protectors of the Constitution. The date would come. The date would come. And I'm telling you tonight that it would be coming in January. Three 4468 is my cell phone number. Call me and be a part of the defenders of our democracy. Three 4468 is my cell phone number. Let us stand for what is right. I know that there's some strong men and women out there. I know that there are those who just cannot stomach what is happening anymore. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
The people at Trinidad and Tobago are taking this thing seriously, you know. What's going on here is serious thing, you know. They're taking it as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
That I had Hines, like at the heat, that I had growing on the brain now. Fitzgerald Hines instigate just what go on behind the bridge. The school behind the bridge, he instigate that. Because like the people and them ain't supporting him anymore, so he decide to send a message to them. You understand? When you mess with the devil gonna mess with you. They go kill out all of them children. You understand? Because they ain't want to pay the devil anymore. So if you don't want to pay the devil anymore, the devil gonna get rid of you. And if you can't get rid of you, you're gonna get rid of who you get. And that is what's going on in Trinidad right now. They can't understand that. They will wait until their children die out before they could realize that. Or next year when they can't feed them and they have to kill them, that's the only time they will cry out to God and start to talk the truth and stand up for the truth in this country. Other than that, they're taking everything for a joke in this country. Serious thing they're taking for joke. And the next thing again, I want to tell the Prime Minister Rowley that he have no respect for nobody in this country, not man, woman, or children. He disrespect all of us to the highest in this country. And how he wants us to respect him. How he wants us to respect him, we cannot respect him because he's so disrespectful to us. You have to own respect from a person for a person to respect you. You don't have no respect for nobody in this country. No law, no man, no woman, no children. You disrespect all of us, so we cannot respect you. Only have a good night.
Thank you very much, caller, and you are correct. And caller, I am prepared to stand. I am prepared to stand come what may. Come what may, I am prepared to stand. I am prepared to stand as I am accustomed standing. You see, when I look throughout the length and breadth of this country, all I'm seeing is pain and anguish and agony, while a selective few just continue to benefit and reap millions and billions of dollars while people cannot even buy food. Somebody called me today and said, Mr. Roberts, I have some rice and some other things. I wanted to come for it. I wanted to come and collect it. And that is to help people. That is to help people. People suffering in this country.
Good night, Mr. Robert. Good night, Mr. Archie. Good night, everybody.
Good night, sir.
This is a caller from Pinal, and I'm ready to walk. Thank you.
Archie, I ain't get it clear what the caller say now. I ain't get it clear there at all. Sorry about that, but I didn't get it clear. The time has come for this country to stand up. The date will be coming in January. Trust me. We can no longer. I don't know if people spend time in this country to just watch a little bit. Watch the community, watch the children, watch the behavior. People, I don't know if you've seen just everything just getting out of control in this country. It seems as though that nothing is under control. And like people just throw their hands up in the air and they're just hoping that something could happen. Well, I want to give you the opportunity not to hope that something will happen, but let us stand together and make the right thing happen. Make the right thing happen across the board. Despite who in government, make the right thing happen. We have failed in this country. And I am saying we cannot allow our children to benefit from our failure. It is not too late to harness what is left of us to ensure that the future is guided. Welcome, caller. Welcome, caller. Actually, we have a call. Welcome, caller.
Good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, sir.
It's your white boy partner, Johnny. Tires. You hear me?
Go again.
Johnny,
Say again.
Tires, boy. Tires, Barakpo.
Yeah. How are you?
Boy, Victor, I have serious concerns concerning the children going to school in the morning in a maxi bus, playing all that stupid noise music that make no sense. It's all negativity. And they're going into school and this in their head. And one wonders why they're not performing or doing the kind of fights that going on in school.
Yeah.
You understand? And even I see policemen off duty, army men off duty, playing the same old stupidness in the car driving. They're making noise in the car. Who wants to hear your music? Keep it to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that negative songs and lyrics coming into children's head is why we are where we are. You know?
Yeah.
And I think something should be done about it. By the way, good night to Mr. Archie. And good night to you, Victor. You're doing an excellent job. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. Aye, well. We just have to do what we have to do to fix it. We have to do what we have to do to fix it because there is no hope under this government for the future. There is no hope. And I don't know why people not really looking and seeing what is happening. I don't know why they keep living in a delusion. They keep living into something that is not real. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Roberts.
Good night, sir.
I have a little suggestion. I don't know what you will how you will assess this suggestion. We need to put out at least a 10-point system by what are the demands that we need and make it public between now and the time that you intend to go out on the road so that the nation will be aware of what are the things that we demand.
Right.
There's another system now because people they're reluctant to go and march because the police, the government control the police, the defense force, the judicial system, the media and everybody. So there's another system out there called civil disobedience, which part you're calling everybody to stay home one day to test to see how serious people are if they want the things to change in the country. And based on that, you can do an assessment now before we decide to do anything further. So you can now plan based on that assessment how we move forward. I will listen to hear we are at your it.
Right, I feel you, the caller. I feel you, and it's of course it's a brilliant idea to put it out there on social media, put it out on whatever we could afford to put it out on, and get the message out there. I agree. Get the message out there, and we will move forward. So great suggestion, and I am also open for suggestion because this is not about me. This has to be about we and the country. It has to be about all of us. So very, very good suggestion, and consideration will be given to it. So actually, I think we could take a few more calls and then we could close it in there. But
Yeah, well, before we close off, today we heard the opposition leader in Parliament outlining some actions that she intended to take, but they were more along the line of filing judicial reviews and taking action in court. But we know how long these court actions take. Sometimes they take years, and I don't think we have years. So I think you are along the right lines, talking about having to demonstrate and show this government that they really they're running a dictatorship. They're running a dictatorship because you see these court things we're talking about. By them have Cosa Nostra in the court. Yeah. And the only place they don't have the Cosa Nostra is in the Privy Council. And if you really listen to their rhetoric recently, their prime objective, as a matter of fact, the AG, the disgraced one, the disgraced perjurer, he is on record as saying that his aim, objective, and main mission is to get rid of the Privy Council.
Yep.
Yeah, so really and truly, it seems as though we need to take some sort of protest action where we could make sure that the state doesn't do what they want, because that's what is taking place. They just decide them postponing elections. They just decide, well, everybody break the law, no police investigating. Remove the police that investigating. Judge make a decision in writing, judge change decision. Is it all over everything? If you decide you're going to march, as the caller said there just now, they're going to tear gas you, right? So,
actually, people in this country have to understand that, look, sacrifice were made for us to be free. Sacrifices were made for us to be free. Sacrifices will always have to be made to uphold democracy. And if we don't want, or if we ain't plan of being that sacrifice, then we must welcome the dictatorship.
You grew up in those days, you know. The people at the age of 30 and under, they don't understand what you're talking about there, you know. Because once they do so and they see carnival playing and fete going on, they believe it have a freedom here, right? They don't understand what it means to fight for something, you know, because they have everything here right now.
And that is why we're trying on these programs for the people to see what is happening. That is what we're trying. But we just can't be talking with no action. What we going to do? We will just come here and talk for the next 3 years right here with no action? Welcome, caller.
Yes, good afternoon. And to Mr. Archie also. I just want to be very brief. If you're taking a course in economics, they will tell you in the very earliest the 5 basic needs of a human being. 5 basic needs: food, water, clothing, shelter, and security.
Yep.
And gradually in this country we have lost security. We lose water. And the food is slipping out of our grasp because it is becoming too expensive.
Yep.
We in this country is bordering on the edge of a very abyss. Right? And people have to know that food will now exceeding their rent, you know. You know?
Yep.
The food more expensive than the rent. So people only have to start to get serious. I might be something before you. Because I so mad. You understand? And the things that are going on here is beyond the normal. Your basic needs are slipping away from you, the people.
Correct.
So have a blessed evening. I will get in contact with you.
Thank you, caller. And caller, you are so correct.
Not only is he correct, you know, you could hear in his voice.
That is reality.
You could hear the desperation in his voice. And you know what? I feel he represents quite a large section of the population. But Victor, although the people them angry, I am still saying they need to be organized to do this demonstration. And I mean, as you say there just now, is talk, talk, talk. I think it's sometimes now in one of these shows, you need to have a special show where you troubleshoot on what sort of action people would like to see you take, and somebody have to organize and lead.
Archie, I am saying that the time for talking, that and all pass.
You is a man total coughing from Erin. Now I follow you, eh?
Yeah.
Go down there about 5:30 in the morning and see you dressing up the coffin, getting ready, and that was a trek that took, I think it was 5 days, all the way from Erin to Port of Spain.
On foot.
On foot. Now, that was to protest the amount of
COVID-19 deaths.
COVID-19 deaths that were happening out of negligence, you know.
Yeah.
Not this thing, no pandemic in it, you know. That was just negligence. Right? Just like how today, imagine the MP raise a motion of definite urgent importance on the upsurge of crime. And your speaker, just like in COVID time, say that ain't urgent.
Well, I know she will be dealt with. I didn't want to stray from what I wanted to tell Trinidad and Tobago tonight. So I'll leave the speaker and all of them, because I wanted to get this message that there's a mission. And this is a mission we have to accomplish. We have to bring 30,000 people outside, actually. We have to do it. No less than 30,000. And I am saying, as from next week, we are going to start to mobilize library. As from next week.
From the way things look, library look like they mobilized already.
Well, the youths and them intend to play the part, you know, because there was some protest action and the youths stand up and protest. So the youths intend to play the part. But actually, we just can't sit down and let the country fall apart and watch UNC and watch PNM and who is PNM and who is UNC and then do nothing. We just can't be talking. Day go, day come, night go, night come. Just talk, you know. Right now, I fed up talk. Actually. I will come here and talk for the next 3 years. No, it's time for some serious action in this country. Lawful action. It's time. The time has come for that. And I am prepared to hold the bull by the nose. Come what may. What they go do? Put me in jail? What they go do, Archie? Put me in jail? So what? What they go do? Set me up? What they go do? Kill me? They shoot me already. What they go do? Kill me now? If I ain't dead today, I go dead tomorrow. If I ain't dead tomorrow, I go dead next year. I have a day to die, just like all of them. So I don't worry about that. A man tell me the other day, you have to pay attention to your safety. I say, boy, you missed the mark. I have a supreme being who is greater than the 2 eyes I have in my head. So I don't worry. That things I don't worry about. I don't worry about things actually that I cannot change, but I'm determined to change the things I can.
You sound like Mahatma there, boy.
I am determined to change the things that I can.
Mahatma said the same thing.
And that is what Trinidad have to do. We can't change the world, but we could change we. We change could start in we home. Right inside we home, we change could start. And as some children there, them willing to run, walk, ride the Baba Green. Not for the father's sake, but for a better future, for a better life, for a better country. I fed up talk. And I think it's time that we stand up. And I think it's time that we stand up against every government. I want to nail that down, you know. I want to nail that in and nail it. No government must get away. After we have seen the behavior of this government, no government must have the opportunity to behave like if the wealth of this country is their own. No government. Law and order have to be upheld in governance. Law and order have to be upheld in governance. We are government breaking the law left, right, and center. We are Prime Minister encouraging President and everybody doing what they want. Well, then let us just burn the Constitution. Let us burn the Constitution, and whatever Rowley say, let we go with that. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Robert. This is the caller from Pinal again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as I prepare to walk from Label to Port Street in non-stop. And as the crowd walk by, the other people and the residents merging, everybody walk. That's what I suggest.
Thank you, caller.
Okay.
And caller, sure if it's I, you, and my children, we going to make that walk.
That is what I want to be hearing, boy Roberts. That is what I want to be hearing.
Sure about that. Enough is enough in this country. Enough is enough. We can no longer sit down and stand up and see Prime Minister, President, Minister of National Security, Minister Rural Development, Attorney General, everybody just breaking the law. And as the small man break the law, we kick him in jail. Who cutting deal and paying millions of dollars indemnity? Who by everybody just doing what they want? And what we doing? What we doing? Welcome, caller.
Hi, good night, Mr. Robert.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Victor Joseph Rattan. I think you just hit the nail on the head. Right? You know, long I want to make a contribution, but I couldn't get through. I think the big thing about this is we're too afraid to die in this country. We're too afraid to die. And I am not afraid to die. And if we have people with that mindset, we could get through anything. People too afraid to die. And that is the point. But thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller.
All right. Thanks.
Time. We had to stand up, man. Next caller, Archie. We had to stand up. We had to stand up. Everybody just breaking the law. And we just saying no and watching it. We just saying no and watching it. We have to demand law and order in order for the country's sake, for the country to move forward. We have to hold everybody who break the law accountable. Whether you be Indian or African, whether you be Prime Minister or Senator, whether you be Senator or a President, whether you be President or a lawyer, whatever you may be. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Robert.
Night, sir.
Report here. Hey, Mr. Robert, first thing I want to tell you about, you know the fella you had given me the hat before, he passed away. So let me tell you. He passed away Friday, so, and nobody looked for him. Mr. Robert, when I came out in the first pushback, I came out for the disabled people because I know one day this government will to come out for the disabled people. Because you see that pension, that NIS pension they take away from the people, if these people happen to live to reach to 65 years, it's $180,000 they're robbing the people. And if the senior citizen happen to reach 70 years, is $200,000 they lost. So these people only decide to thief people money by. And you know, the PNM supporters cannot say that boy. And it's happening to senior citizens as just as the UNC senior citizens. Oh God, only open all the eye and see what's going on now. Just imagine today I hear people talking about they had to wait until 65 to get NIS. They had to wait until 65 to get NIS. That is rare hurtful boy. And then or a new car, and Camille Robinson Regis coming out and talking about this Prime Minister is the best, this Prime Minister is the best. But I know you don't have much time. Otherwise, I'll give you a history about Ranuka talking about the Ramayana. She knows nothing about the Ramayana. If she didn't know anything about the Ramayana, she would never follow Ram Rowley, Rawan Rowley.
All right, Freeport. We had to close it in there. We time up and have another issue to deal with.
Take a last call there.
All right. Welcome, caller.
Hi, Victor.
Good night.
Archie
Good
from
night.
Canada.
Yes, Canada.
Victor, the last caller, the second last caller before who made the suggestion. I don't know if you remember one time when I called in, I asked for you to talk to if you could get the taxi drivers and them especially to shut down the place. Them alone had to do that. No, all taxis, maxi, taxi, all taxis you think about. And they just don't go and buy gas and stop one day without doing anything. And you will see what's going to happen. That had to be a change too, man. Okay, Victor?
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Take care.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to leave it here. Remember, my number is 316-4468, 316-4468. You could call me and we would be able to discuss and put this mechanism in place where 30,000 people we will take to Port of Spain in January. God bless. Archie, DouglAR Politics tomorrow night.
Yes.
DouglAR Politics at 7:30 tomorrow, please God. Sunday press conference at 11:30.
10:30.
10:30 press conference.
Rudal Munilal and Anita Haynes will be on Sunday.
Beautiful. And then Monday Night Forum should be back up on Monday.
Correct.
So, caller, good night. Thanks for your support. God bless. Remember, we have a date in January. 30,000 people we take in the Port of Spain.
Since you take over as Prime Minister, it's plenty pressure. We have to suffer, and you will do nothing better. Probably really have to go. Oh, Rowley really have to go. Oh, Rowley really have to go. Since you come in power, you is a big failure. Collapse the economy and it do nothing for we. What you have to show, we don't really know. What you have to show, we don't really know. Sorry, Trinidad and Tobago, but Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. The crime rate is out of hand, they're shooting up we blessed land. We need more protection, it's time to take some action. We living in fear, it's too much to bear. We living in fear, it's too much to bear. And the PNM don't really care, Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. This country in crisis with your broken promises. Too much people jobless, we living in real distress. No school for children, why you suffering them? No school for children, why you suffering them? And we have to vote out PNM. Rowley really have to go.